Let's talk about sectors. Such a sexy topic. So the stock market categorizes all of the listed companies into 11 different sectors. So how many of these sectors should you be investing if you want a diversified portfolio? Let's dive deeper and find out. So how many sectors are there in the stock market? So the Australian Stock Exchange, the ASX, follows the Global Industry Classification Standard, GICS. It's the method for categorizing our companies. Now it's broken up into 11 sectors, 24 industry groups, 69 industries, and 158 sub-industries. So basically it's just a way to categorize the companies within the stock exchange. So the 11 sectors are energy, materials, industrials, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, healthcare, financials, information technology, communication services, utilities, and real estate. Now, there aren't even amounts of companies in each sector. For example, the materials sector has 725 companies, whereas the utilities company only has 24 companies listed under that sector. Now, in my last video, I talked about diversification and how many stocks you should own to have a good diversified portfolio based on the research that I found. But another way to become diversified is to make sure that the companies that you're holding belong to different sectors as well. The reason you want different sectors in your portfolio is because different groups of companies or different sectors act differently under different market conditions. So let's take last year, for example. The financials market was hit pretty hard, as well as the industrials market, because that includes a lot of travel companies like Qantas. They're under transportation, which is under the industrials sector, and they were hit pretty hard last year. But there were sectors that didn't fare as badly. So two of them that did pretty well was consumer discretionary, mostly because a lot of people were buying online, so a lot of retail stores were doing well, and also healthcare. The healthcare sector did well as people wanted to invest in that. So different types of companies react differently to different market conditions. So having a good mix of different sectors can mean you can balance out your portfolio better. So how many sectors should you invest in? Now, you don't want to own every sector. Buying the top stocks in every sector may sound good in theory, but there aren't great companies in every single sector. And it's impossible to have all your bases covered anyway, so it's not something I would stress about all that much. What you'll find though is as you're buying companies, you're going to naturally start to buy in different sectors anyway. It's not something that you really need to be concerned about overall. Focusing on the quality of the companies that you invest in is going to be much more worth your research time than it is trying to just choose different companies from different sectors. You do need to focus on having different sectors, of course, and I think at least 3 different sectors, but preferably somewhere between 5 to 7 different sectors is going to make your portfolio pretty well balanced. I just checked my own portfolio and I have 14 single stocks. I also have 2 exchange traded funds, but of the 14 single stocks that I own, they cover 7 different sectors. So the sectors that I have are financials, real estate, consumer discretionary, communication services, utilities, consumer staples, and materials. Now, I didn't actively try and choose companies from different sectors. It just worked out that way when I'm just trying to find good companies to invest in. I don't take into consideration the sector of the company, but it's going to happen naturally as you start looking at companies anyway. So it's not something that you really need to worry too much about. If you're choosing good companies and doing your research properly, you're going to end up with a mix anyway. And there are good dividend stocks and good growth stocks in most sectors. What about sector funds or exchange traded funds that focus on a particular sector? Are they good investments? So ETFs are popular, as you know. One of the most popular ETFs in Australia is Vanguard's VAS, which covers the ASX 300. But you can also get ETFs that cover different things, including particular sectors. So you can buy an ETF that just covers one sector. So right now, ETFs that just cover tech stocks or just cover healthcare stocks are pretty popular. And of course, this means you're going to be buying into a whole lot of companies within that one sector with just that one fund. But unlike buying a general index ETF, owning a very specialized ETF, you still need to be careful of the weightings in your portfolio. You don't want to open yourself up to too much risk by having all of your money, say, in technology stocks. So just because it's an ETF does not mean that you're getting diversity. if it's specialized in a particular area. But if you did want to get into a particular sector, they can be fine. They can be an easy way just to jump in if you want to get into a particular sector. You just need to be careful of the weightings of the rest of your portfolio because you don't want to have too much of your money in one area. So just treat it like you would any other investment and make sure that is going to balance out your portfolio and not overwhelm it. So I want to do a video in the future on the best sectors to invest in, which ones of them have the best companies, tend to have the best companies. I wouldn't mind even going into having a look at the top stocks in each of the sectors to see which are the highest dividend companies or highest growth companies within each sector. I think that'll be interesting. So let me know if you want to see any of those videos and I'll do them in the future. But basically, my whole point of this video is to don't stress too much because if you're buying good companies, you're going to get a mix of sectors anyway. It's not something that you need to like obsessively focus on. As long as you're doing your research, your due diligence to be choosing great companies that fit into your portfolio, you're going to get a mix, so don't worry too much about it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. I'll see you in the next video and happy investing. Bye.